and then Johnny, who died when he was about 2 years old, and then Rose, and then Pete and Lee. He worked in a restaurant for a while after the World War ended and so on, and he developed TB, and he ended up in a TB sanitarium. And he had stomach cancer, but he died of a massive heart attack. They didn't know that he had stomach cancer until they did the autopsy. Dad had one too many, and he went in and he says, give Billy a haircut. I want Billy to have a haircut, something like that. So she got a boy's haircut. Mom was ready to kill. But he was lots of fun. I mean, he was a happy drunk. He was never nasty. He always made sure that we had money. I mean, Mom had money for groceries. And, but this one time, they were doing construction on the way that we usually went home. And so we had to go down, up, down, over Ball Top and going down the hill. We had a rumble seat trunk, or whatever, and Uncle Herman was driving. Grammy Bogart was in the middle, and she was holding either Clark or myself, and my mother was holding the other one. And Dad's goofing off, waving, sticking his head around, and so on. And all at once I looked back and I says, Daddy isn't there, Daddy isn't there. And they thought I was joking. So finally Uncle Herman stopped the car and Daddy wasn't there. So he stopped, he kept backing up, and here Daddy had fell off the damn trunk or the rumble seat. And he was all bloody. And anyway, we got home. Mom, she says, you made yourself a mess, you cleaned it up. Well, I went and got on a washcloth. I was really mad at her at that point. But it's funny when you think about it now, but it wasn't funny then. I was probably about 4 years old, 4 or 5 tops.
I ran into an old codger in New England. He said that he did a little bit of amateur boxing. Did he have that right?
Uncle Dan did that.
Uncle Dan did that.
Yeah, Uncle Dan did that. I don't remember Dad. Dad was a swimmer. He threw me in the pool before I was a year old. And I swam. I didn't sink. I never remember not knowing how to swim. And poor Clark, Clark didn't learn to swim until he was about 6, 7 years old, and I broke Dad's heart because Clark couldn't swim. But I just took off. I don't know, but that's what I was told. He was very athletic, but I don't know whether he, other than playing baseball, I don't know if he did anything else. But Uncle Dan was a wrestler.
Yeah, I heard her dad played a lot of baseball.
So,
He played a lot of baseball.
He could put a roof on the house trunk. He did Grammy Bogart and Grammy Bogart's place up the hollow there where Grammy Fenstermarker lived.
And that wasn't real high though.
No, it wasn't real
like
high.
A cottage.
But
it was nice.
And he was really well liked. Everyone that met him liked him.
So he never came back from New Jersey, and they ended up getting a divorce. Is that what happened?
My mother filed for a divorce, and but he never came home. He never had a home here afterwards. When he would come home to see us kids, he would stay with my mother's family. My mother's family did not like her new husband, which was Uncle Bob, which was, my kids call him not happy.
I told Tom on the way up, I'm not very good at the family history on that side because I only remember seeing my dad twice, and once was in the casket, and that's a fact.
Now, remember we took you down to...
I remember when I went down to New Jersey with you to visit. It was Rose, you, and Carl, and me. Because Rose must have been like 16 because you left her dry on a permit. You and Carl left her dry a little bit. So she would have been 16 and I probably would have been 13 or 14. I remember that time. And I remember going, picking him up at the institution that he lived.
Yeah.
And you took us out at a diner down around 22, and it was around Newark, Delaware, or I'm sorry, Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah.
It was in that area.
Yeah.
And I remember that day. And I remember writing letters to him and getting letters from him.
Mm-hmm.
But the only other memory of seeing him was in the casket, and probably when I was 16 years old. I remember getting a phone call from Mom, saying that I was at Bobby Georgia, saying that he died, and I was kind of devastated there because, I was not around any relatives, and I always had hopes that I would run into him sometime and see what he was like.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
He was, like I said, I never heard anything nasty about him other than he had a drinking problem.
Mm-hmm.
But his employees, the people that worked under him, liked him. His in-laws liked him. My mom's family liked him. They all, Uncle Herman, Uncle Frank, and my grandparents.